Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this potential new video series called Opinions. That might also change. But it dawned on me last night, there's so much noise around what happened on Smackdown with Cody, Rock, Roman, that it makes sense to do a video where we get your thoughts, your questions, your theories, your opinions. And obviously we can do this for all the big talking points going forwards. So I put this message out saying feedback required, right? Leave comments below any thoughts, theories, questions you have for what went down on Smackdown, specifically Cody, Roman, Rock segments. I'll use these for a new video. We take the comments and we discuss them. Now, this got viewed by like over 4,000 people, which I was not expecting, right? That's one of the most engaged comments that we've done. So amazing. Thank you. But I think there's a couple of things to say here. I'm definitely going to respect everyone's opinion, right? I don't want people to feel scared about sharing their honest opinions. Otherwise, what's the point in doing this? So we're going to be very respectful. And the other thing, I suppose, that I'm looking at is I don't mind if you're excited about Rock versus Roman, or if you hate Rock versus Roman and you want Cody instead. I don't mind either viewpoint. But what I'm looking for, I suppose, is if you're going to provide a way forwards, I am going to need you to fix what's just happened, because there is a big problem with what's just happened. And I am seeing a lot of people coming up with ideas for the future, but we're not really fixing what's gone wrong. And what's gone wrong is that Cody won the Rumble. He pointed at Roman. He made it clear that he wanted Roman. He then went to SmackDown, made it clear that that is the title that he needs. That is the title that finishes his story. And then he stepped aside. So people saying, yeah, but we could do this match at SummerSlam, you know, and stuff like that. Yeah, we can. We could do the match at SummerSlam. We could do the match on a SmackDown on a Raw. We could do the match in Madison Square Garden. We could do the match on the moon. But it doesn't fix the problem. And the problem is that the story so far has led to Cody winning the Rumble, pointing at Roman so that he can finish the story, only to then step aside. And it's that I think is the real bugbear that the wrestling fans have. That's the problem right there. If Cody had never won the Rumble and The Rock had won the Rumble, I don't think you would see the drama that you're seeing right now. If The Rock had won the Rumble and he then came out on SmackDown, confronted Roman, I think we're in a very different place. I don't think Rock Roman, the match, is the problem, right? I don't think waiting for the story to be finished is the problem. The problem is how we've got here. It's the journey that we've been on. It's the story that's been told. So I just want to put that caveat out there, because I am prepared to read a lot of fantastic ideas and theories about what we can do in the future. But I've just got a gut feeling that they may also not fix the issue. And the issue is what we've just been through, right? Which I don't think people are willing to ignore and move on from. They need that explained. Why did Cody step aside? We may get this answer on Monday. We need this answer on Monday, because we certainly didn't get it on SmackDown. Why did he win the Rumble, point at Roman, go to SmackDown, point at the belt he needs, and then step aside? What was his motivation for doing that? That's what I think people are looking for. So let's get into the comments, shall we, and see what's being said. So Gio the Fio said, I understand how Rock versus Roman sounds like a great match. However, The Rock hasn't wrestled in a long time and got tired doing one people's elbow just a few months ago. The match would be mid. Also, for Cody to win the Rumble and call Roman out, it makes sense for Cody or versus Roman to over Rock. I don't know where the rest of that comment went. I thought it would be down here. But Oh, look at this from Matt. You're too close to the product to see the big picture. Rock versus Roman has completely overshadowed the Vince news, and the range of people who will watch WrestleMania now has increased. This was the best move for the business. Now, what I would say about Matt's comment there is I don't think Matt's wrong. I think that a big reason as to why we've done this is because of the Vince allegations, and I think that this is to cover up those Vince allegations in the sense of if you search WWE, the first thing that comes back is Rock Roman now, right? It's the top story. It has replaced like the Vince stuff as the top story. So I do think there is some truth to that. But I would say making two wrongs doesn't equal a right. So obviously the Vince allegation and all of that stuff is in a league of its own. But then to tell a story and just have to swerve like we have and go in a completely different direction just so we can cover up the first wrong with another wrong, you can understand why the fan base is quite upset. But I think the points that Matt make are still very, very valid. And Gio, I don't know where the second part of your message has gone, but Steven said, CM Punk in a sling attacks Rock Reigns during the match. Then Seth on crutches attacks Rock Reigns during the match. Then Cody, holding back tears, attacks Rock Reigns at the end of the match. Then Solo, who's angry, attacks Rock Reigns after the match. We just keep bringing people down and they can just keep attacking them. Del Boy said, my honest opinion, people are emotional. They don't understand business. It comes down to, from a business perspective, it makes 110% sense and is the right call. From a fan perspective, first of all, as much as I want to see Cody versus Roman 2, I am so excited to see the match we've all been waiting years for, and it looks like it's finally happening at Mania 40. I cannot wait. Do you remember it was supposed to be at Mania 39 last year, but somehow didn't happen? Well, now Rock comes down to show face-to-face with Roman. It was an amazing moment to see, and we're getting that crowd on Smackdown. Did you hear it? That live crowd losing their minds and chanting, "This is awesome." That's what matters. Dream match will headline WrestleMania. The people wanted to see Rock Roman for so long. However, I do feel bad for Cody. What is he going to do on the road to WrestleMania 40? I believe he will finish his story, and he should be this year. I don't know where or when, but it's got to be SummerSlam or Survivor Series, or they could possibly want to save it for another big Mania like 41, which is next year. One thing makes me feel hurt and angry. It is frustrating and confusing. The men's Rumble seemingly screwed it. The route they took to get to the match makes no sense at all. I think that's the issue, though. I feel like everything Dale Boy is saying, I would imagine everyone agrees with. Like, there's nothing here so far I don't disagree with. From a business perspective, it is the bigger match, and it will bring in more casual eyes. But you could do this match on another show, and it would still bring in, like, the eyes. And the live crowd point, it's The Rock. You bring The Rock out in any arena, that crowd's going to pop. And that crowd's going to pop, right? I don't think you can really put too much stock into the live crowd thing, because they are kind of experiencing something different from the rest of us. They are in a building at the same time with The Rock, which when they bought those tickets, they didn't know they were going to have that experience, right? Imagine buying tickets to Smackdown, you get there and The Rock walks out, you're going to pop. But that was not the same reaction as everyone watching at home, was it? Everyone at home was having a very different, well, not everyone, but a lot of people at home were having a very different experience. Overall, I'm excited and I'm happy with Rock versus Roman. It's just the booking of the men's Rumble. It did bother me, but keep up the good work. Delboy, it's a great comment. It's a great comment, but as I said, there's nothing there to disagree with. The crowd did pop live. I mean, it is true. They did. I think we know why. Business-wise, it does make sense. But it is that journey, isn't it? It is that road. And as you've rightfully said, that's something that does bother you as well. So, good comment. PW Chronicle, shout out to you guys. I like to try and let things play out, but damn, The Rock taking Cody Rhodes' WrestleMania spot is tough. The fact that Rhodes said he wants Reigns, but not at Mania, can only mean one thing. Rhodes reigns at the Chamber, even though Reigns isn't advertised. I'm kind of confused as to where this is leading. Obviously, we're getting Rock Reigns at Mania, and I think Rhodes versus Seth Rollins, or there is some sort of swerve where Rhodes is still facing Reigns at Mania, with Rock as an enforcer or a special guest referee. Or Rhodes finds a way into the match and we get a triple threat. Rhodes versus Rock versus Reigns. Good comment, but what I would say about this is word on the street is that they've done this and it wasn't the plan. It was a case that it was going to be Cody that was going to go on to face Roman, but because of the Vince allegations, because of Brock being out, because of CM Punk's injury, this has basically thrown the WrestleMania plans up in the air. The reason why it seemingly doesn't make sense is because this wasn't the direction we were going in. We have gone in a different direction. Or certainly that's the word on the street, right? That's the word on the street. I genuinely don't know what they do going forward, but I don't, it's hard to see them not doing Roman now. You know, this company can be very, very stubborn. They can be very, very stubborn. Although, you know, I don't know that we've seen them tested like we're seeing them tested. I mean, they have now got their most disliked YouTube video ever. Over 200,000 dislikes. We Want Cody is trending. Last night, Poor Cody was trending, right? I think pretty much universally all the major wrestling platforms have spoken out against this. It's something that has not gone down well amongst, I would say, the majority of the wrestling community. Maybe it's just the vocal minority and there's a load of people just staying quiet at the moment. I'm not sure. But this is why I want people to feel comfortable to be able to share their honest opinions, knowing that we're not going to be ripping into them or anything. So in regards to could Cody still make it into that match and then The Rock be like a special guest referee or something? I mean, I suppose there's still a chance of that. There's still a flicker of that. Don't forget as well, Cody did say during that segment that not at WrestleMania. So he's sort of made his intention clear that he's going after Seth now. He has stepped aside, which is why it's going to have to be one hell of a swerve to get Cody back into this match, considering that he said he wasn't going to be at WrestleMania. So good points again. PW Chronicle, shout out to you. Anna Dawes said, here are my thoughts. The whole Cody Rock Roman situation is just what CM Punk complained about with his pipe bomb promo about The Rock swanning in and taking the main event at Mania spots. Are we reviving that story somehow? So Anna asking a very interesting question. Nita Nitro said the whole situation belittled both titles. It made Cody look like an idiot and made no one want the dream match that we've wanted for 4 years. It's not compelling TV. The story now is we have no story. WWE Over Everything says they needed something big to get everyone off the Vince news. Shareholders, sponsors, and everyone else. Cody versus Roman wasn't going to do that, but Rock versus Roman does in many ways. This actually made SportsCenter last night, and this match has been brewing longer than Cody. Kian said, I think it's a stupid decision to make. It goes they want to make money, and it goes that WrestleMania 40 is supposed to be the anniversary of all the icons or something like that. But I think it should be Cody versus Roman. But if it's about money, then I'm sorry, it's a stupid thing to do. Patrick said, here are my thoughts. Maybe it won't go this way, but I'm thinking we could do a complete U-turn where Cody says he ain't stepping aside, which leads to Roman versus Cody, night 1 at WrestleMania. Cody wins, then night 2, we get Roman versus Rock. We don't need that match to be for the belt. It's an interesting thought. It's going to, as we said, it's going to have to be a hell of a swerve considering Cody came out, said that he won't be facing Roman at WrestleMania. Looked really, I mean, his face, he looked really emotional. And then obviously went walking away like a dog with his tail between his legs. So how we do that swerve is going to be a little bit tricky. I did actually put a tweet out with a proposal where have the fans hijack the ring and have the fans demand that Cody change his mind. Cody comes out and says that he was told by the higher-ups, the authority, that they didn't believe he was the right person that could defeat and bring down the bloodline. They believed the only person that could do it would be someone that was within the family, someone with experience. That person, of course, being The Rock. And then at that point, I would have The Rock interrupt. He could either come out physically or, more likely, video message. And I would have The Rock say, basically, what did I tell you in the ring? I said to you, I asked you, are you sure about this? I said that I was only going to do this for you. And I was doing it so that I could bring down the bloodline and I could make it fairer for you in the future so that you could get that title and finish your story. But the people have spoken, Cody. It's clear to see. They all believe that you can bring down the bloodline. They believe in you. I believe in you. Finish your story. And I just think then the crowd are going to erupt. Cody's going to be crying. That's a great way of getting The Rock out and him not losing face and putting Cody back in, right? It's a U-turn, but it's a U-turn that makes sense. It explains what happened on Smackdown. It explains why he pointed at Roman at the Royal Rumble, because that was his intention until someone got in his ear and sort of tried to change his mind, right? So for me, it does explain the journey. It gets us back on track. No one loses face. So that would be my suggestion. That's what I would look to do. But yeah, maybe something in there could be used, Patrick. I'm not sure. Prakar said, after a few weeks, Triple H comes to the ring and says he was angry with Cody for creating AEW. Oh, I never thought of this. And therefore, he has taken him out of WrestleMania. Oh, despite winning the Rumble. Cody says he will be there no matter what. Tensions are rising. We have a mini feud between Cody and Triple H. Well, listen, a feud between Cody and Triple H, I've got no problem with. Triple H obviously can't wrestle. But someone could wrestle on his behalf. That would be great for that person. So I am honestly down with this idea. I'm honestly on board with this. But the only thing I would say is I don't know that WWE are going to want to mention AEW. So you might have to just tweak that. The other thing as well is I don't know. I don't know how Triple H can stop Cody from picking Roman. That would really need to be explored. If you win the Rumble, you get the choice to choose. It's your choice. So that would just need fleshing out. But Prakar, I feel like there's something there. Maybe something more for after Cody wins the title. You know, then like Triple H could be off with Cody. Cody could be a bit confused. And then we get a segment where Triple H explains why he's been off, and then boom, we can go into a bit of a feud or something. That's good. I don't mind that. Ellis Dub said Cody looks like a fool, willing to give up his WrestleMania main event. This is the kind of dumb babyface stuff that I hate to see. It makes me respect him less. It's painfully obvious that money was prioritized over logic. It's a financial decision, not a booking decision. Wes said Cody steps aside for The Rock. Roman wins at Mania. Cody Roman at Survivor Series. Cody wins and finishes the story. Damian cashes in and snatches the title just like Dusty had done. Wes, shout out to you. I think, you can go this way, but I suppose the question still remains, why did Cody win the Rumble? And point at Roman. And why have we heard about finishing the story for 2 years for him to step aside? Like, there's nothing stopping us doing Cody Roman at Survivor Series or SummerSlam or Saudi or anywhere. But again, that original problem remains, doesn't it? Why did we watch the Rumble, watch him win the Rumble, see him point at Roman, only for him to then step aside? I feel like that is going to be answered. It has to be answered. It's got to be answered. That segment on Raw is monstrous. It has to be answered. Steven, shout out to you, said you can see the look on Cody's face, and I think it speaks for itself. I'm not happy about it. It's a great idea for a match, but personally, I think it should be at a Saudi show. So Roman, I'm guessing you're saying there. That was rumored to be what WWE were trying to get made. They wanted it in Saudi under the belief they could get some extra money. And then the Vince allegations, the injury to Punk, the Brock Lesnar situation seems to have spooked them. They've obviously got concerned that losing Punk and Brock means that WrestleMania now loses some considerable star power, and it's made them nervous. And so they've pulled the emergency Rock lever. And I think Rock was really pushing for it. I also heard, and I don't know how true this is, The Rock apparently was pushing to win the match as well. He was pushing to win the match. It's mental, isn't it? That's mental. Doris Fan said, Daze, I've just thought of something, and this might be an extremely wild take, go for it. But what if Cody is eventually going to win both major titles? He beats Seth at WrestleMania 40, and then at some point down the road, he also dethrones Roman Reigns. That's fine. Again, fine. But it doesn't fix the problem. The problem is, finish the story. He points at Roman. He can go after Roman. Why is he now going after Seth? I know a lot of people liked what Seth said about that belt being the dusty belt, but we could do that after. That's a side quest, you know? That's how that feels. It feels like a side quest. The main mission, right? Let's put this in Grand Theft Auto terms, right? The main story is he's got to get Roman's belt. So why all of a sudden are we now doing a side quest? Seth's belt is nothing but a side quest. So the idea of like him having both belts is fine. I would just question though, why would you introduce a new world title in 2023 and then have that new world title be in the hands of one person, the same person that's got the other world title in 2024? You're basically unifying the belts. You've introduced a new belt in 2023 just to unify it in 2024. And I think we can agree that the roster is so big right now, it does need two champions. I don't think Roman feels any less of the man, the guy, because Seth's got a belt, right? If anything, Seth's belt's kind of seen as, you know, the number 2 belt, as Roman said. So it's a side quest. It's like a super intercontinental, right? That's how I view it. Yes, it's a world title and you are recognized as a world champion. So it has more prestige than, I suppose, the Intercontinental. Although maybe prestige wasn't quite the right word. Intercontinental belt certainly got more history. But if you hold that IC belt, you're not recognized as a world champion. Gunther has still never been a world champion in WWE, but he would be if he got Seth's belt. So that's what I mean by that. So for me, it's a side quest. It doesn't fix what the issue is, and that's the whole Rumble situation. Brady said, what Cody did last night goes completely against his character. He's been saying all this time the finishing the story means getting the championship his father never won. But it's okay to wait a while and let a 62-year-old, I'm not sure he's quite that old, let a 62-year-old man step in front of him. It makes no sense. HTX Phantom said, I assume WWE through Cody will clear a lot of this confusion up in a single promo. Even though I consider myself one of the more patient fans, trying to anticipate the payoff for all this, I still woke up confused this morning. Punk getting injured is probably the culprit. That's a great comment. That's a great comment. There's no lies detected. You know, I think they will try their hardest to convince you in that Cody promo that this is the right thing to do. My belief is that they are seeing the negativity and they are going to do whatever they can to try and quell that negativity, dampen that negativity by having Cody cut a very specific promo. I don't quite know off the top of my head what that promo is going to be, but judging by how they managed to convince people, or some people, what Seth said about, you know, his being the dusty belt, there was some people in our live chat that were buying it, that were going for it. When Seth said, this is the workhorse belt, this is the dusty belt, this is the one you should go for. So considering they managed to get a few people buying into that, I think there is a good chance that Cody's promo on Monday, where they have him say whatever, I think there's a good chance they could have people buying into that as well. It feels like Rock Roman is where we're heading. It's going to take something pretty monumental to change direction. I think what we're seeing with trends and whatever in the short term, I think that's going to have to be sustained. I think that this noise is going to have to only get louder and stick around longer for them to really get the message. If it's just around this weekend, they won't be bothered. But if it stays day after day after day after day, they may get the message. It's going to take something monumental. Otherwise, I think Roman is what we get, yeah. It's Bryn again, said, as much as people like to say it's good from a business point of view, business isn't the main attraction when it comes to WWE. It's the entertainment and the story. I believe this isn't a good choice. However, if they went a different way around it, I would respect it as a big match. It's true, innit? I don't think anyone's down on the match. I mean, I said last night, it's hard to be down on Rock versus Roman. It's The Rock. It's Roman. It's a dream match we've all been waiting for. You've really got to do some exceptional booking to give wrestling fans this match and have them this angry. I mean, it really is. He deserves Booker of the Year, Triple H, for 2024, just for achieving this. It's incredible. Moxley Nightmare said, first time I've ever switched off a wrestling show right in the middle of it. It was at the end. Because of how angry I was. I hate Dwayne, and he's a bald-headed snake. I'm probably not going to watch Mania now. If I do, I won't be watching that match. I am peed. Nick said, thoughts on the Rock Roman segment being the most disliked WWE YouTube video ever. I think that we're really seeing the power of social media, and we're seeing the power of the internet. It is something that has shown itself over the years. I think that LA Knight's rise was thanks to the internet. I think that that kind of people's appreciation for him and the catchphrases really caught on, and it meant that everyone could amplify it on social media. People were seeing that on social media, which then meant when he came walking out live, big reaction, right? And I think that's how, we don't see people getting that hot that quick. And wow, I mean, it was amazing, the rise of LA Knight. So I think you can put some credit to the internet for that. And I think, people will obviously talk about Daniel Bryan, and they'll talk about Kofi Mania. And, there's a few examples in the past. And I think this is just the latest example. I think that the fans are fairly united. I mean, it does have to be said. We did a snap poll straight after the segment, and it was 60-40. People were against this, shall we say. But that is still a considerable number, that 40%. Make no mistake about it. There are people out there that recognize, and you've seen some comments already, they recognize that the Royal Rumble situation was not perfect, right? But the Rock Roman match is so big, they're willing to just overlook that. They're willing to just not be bothered with that. They're just focused on the future. They're focused on what they're getting, and what they're getting is an absolute dream match. There are people out there that feel that way. So my thoughts on it are, I mean, personally, good, because I want Cody against Roman. So I'm glad it's the most disliked video. I suppose my concern is that this is going to be a flash in the pan. That this will be a lot of anger this weekend, and then they'll do something on Raw to try and change people's minds. And WWE are master manipulators. They will find a way, I'm sure, of making you believe that this is the right path, right? Even though I don't believe this was the plan, and of course plans do change, and even though it's been finish the story, and even though Cody won the Rumble, only the fourth person to do that twice in a row, pointed at right, even though all of this happens, I think they will try and find a way of convincing you that we are now on the right path. So, don't know, are they going to succeed? We're going to find out on Monday in what promises to be a very, very big show. And I can't wait to see the reaction of the crowd. I hope there are monstrous Cody chants at the start. I hope that crowd hijack the show. I really do. And I don't even mean like in a segment. I mean just Cody chants throughout the whole show. That's what I hope for. But yeah, Nick, shout out to you. Watson said, I think I'm at the point where WrestleMania 40 should have been one of the biggest. Why can't we do Rock Roman night 1 and then Cody Roman night 2 where he finally wins? Well, it's a good point. I suppose the fact Cody said not at WrestleMania is the reason everyone's freaking out, because he has sort of made it clear he's not going to do it at WrestleMania. And I also don't think people believe that Roman would be willing to work both nights. You know, we can only get him to work 11, 12 matches a year. Like, to get him to do 2 on a weekend, it's an ask, isn't it? That's a big ask. Annette said, Daze, I think it should be Cody versus Roman versus Rock in a 3-way, or Rock versus Roman night 1. Winner goes on to night 2 to face Cody for the WWE Championship. Again, you know what my answer there will be? Cody saying not at WrestleMania kind of means that all of that goes out the window. I'll tell you my concern with the triple threat. My concern with the triple threat is that people do love The Rock. And I think if Cody is going to finish the story, the problem you've got is that you will have some in the crowd disappointed that The Rock didn't win. And I just think that when Cody does finish his story, everyone, or as many people as we can, should be right behind him. It should be monster heel, monster face, Hogan Andre. Like, do you know what I mean? These two battling it out. Who's going to come out on top? A battle for the ages. You don't want that moment when Cody wins and having a load of the crowd being disappointed that it wasn't The Rock. And my other concern is that a triple threat would give Roman an excuse. If he loses and even pinned, he can turn around and say, yeah, I would have won though. I would have won if I didn't have to keep my eyes out for the other person in the match. You know, if this was me and Cody one-on-one, I would have beaten him. And I know the argument there would be, well, do a rematch, one-on-one, and have Cody win. But it just means that moment is, there's a few seeds of doubt. You know, Roman has got something to, I don't know, some sort of get-out clause, and I don't want him to have any get-out clause. I think his reign has been so historic. He's beaten so many people in singles matches that have been cheated that I want him to lose clean. One-on-one, Cody finishes the story, and I just think in that moment I want the whole crowd to be behind Cody. Having The Rock involved just sort of hurts that vision in a couple of different ways. So that's why I'm not keen on the triple threat, to be perfectly truthful. But if the option is Rock Roman or Rock Roman Cody, I'll take Rock Roman Cody. I mean, hopefully we could then do Rock Roman on its own down the road, and we could do Cody Roman down the road, which gives us 2 big singles matches down the road as well. I know people might say, well, I'm not too bothered about seeing Rock Roman if I've seen Rock Roman Cody, but I think you would still watch it. I'm fairly confident you would still tune in, right? So I'll take it if I have to take it, but it's not the direction I would choose to go. Jill said, I have wanted Rock Roman for literally years, but this is terrible. It screams of The Rock forcing his way in. Has to happen at WrestleMania and screwing over the story and Cody, who is there week in, week out for an ego boost. Moxley Nightmare said, this Dwayne stuff sets a bad example for younger guys. It illustrates how regardless of how good you are or how over you are, there will always be an old timer waiting in the wings, ready to take it away whenever he feels like it. Azza says, I am bummed. Why have Cody win the Rumble if you do this? Jono said, also, I refuse to cheer for The Rock because quite literally his own people is being brought off and priced out of their own island. They have no water in places because of tourism, and The Rock is behind part of the buying. He's not a good guy. Does it open him up for other criticism? That's interesting. I mean, there was a lot of criticism around the wildfires. So I wonder if like this spills over now into other areas where he gets criticized, like Jono has done there. Riddick said, I guess Cody really is more CM Punk than CM Punk is, right down to Dwayne taking his WrestleMania spot. I do believe it's due to both Punk getting injured and deflecting attention away from the Vince news. Now, what happens to Drew? Seemed he was in line for a possible title shot too. triple threat, maybe? I don't know, yeah. I mean, I've not even thought about what we do with Seth and Cody. I'm still living in hope that doesn't happen, if I'm brutally truthful. Misty said the fact that they're making Cody the face of the company, the game, and everything just to give away his spot for 5-10 minute predictable attraction match at WrestleMania. I've seen a lot of people saying that, you know, you can easily predict what's going to happen. It's going to be Rock versus Roman, and what's going to happen is there'll be some outside interference. Roman retains. That's your main event of WrestleMania 40. Roman standing tall with the title. Although word on the street, as we said earlier, is The Rock is pushing for him to be the one that stands tall at the end. And I don't know how people would feel about that. I don't think they'd be into it. Certainly not now, after what's gone down. Aaron said, my opinion is that Cody Rhodes is giving us a masterclass on what leadership looks like and what WWE owes him big time. I also hope on Thursday at the press conference we get a real answer from Triple H on what led to Cody not finishing the story at WrestleMania. Don't quite get that first part. We're getting a masterclass on what leadership looks like. You mean like he's willing to step aside for the greater good type situation? He knows the Vince, so he's heartbroken, but he knows that this is the right thing to do for the business. It's a very mature take. Very mature. Temi said, wishful thinking is that this is the yes movement, but deliberate, because WWE want us to think that Bryan was always going to main event Mania 30, but really he wasn't. Maybe they are secretly planning for Cody versus Rock Night 1 to determine Roman's challenger. Cody versus Rock Night 1. That would be a hell of a swerve, wouldn't it? I don't think anyone right now is expecting Cody versus Rock. So that would be a hell of a swerve. Casual LA Night Enjoyer said, what I think will happen is we get Cody versus Reigns at Elimination Chamber in Perth. A lot of fans will give Cody the win. Then we have Rock Reigns at Mania without the title. The match doesn't need it. And for Cody, we could have him face Randy. So in regards to that, the only questions I would have is, apparently Roman is not meant to be at Elimination Chamber. He's not advertised for Elimination Chamber. That could change. But at the moment, he's not going to be there. The other thing as well is that Cody has won the Rumble, which gives him a WrestleMania main event. Doesn't grant him an Elimination Chamber main event. Maybe he could have a conversation and get it brought forwards, right? So I'm sure we could do that. And I think the majority of fans would go with that, right? The only other problem I have is the time is not brilliant to do a match of this magnitude, but, you know, maybe we've just got to lump that. We're in Australia, so it's an awkward time for America. But, I don't know, the American Nightmare winning the belt on behalf of the American Dream, right? The first Rhodes to win a world title in WWE, because I'm sure Cody would win. And it happening in Australia, like, that just doesn't feel right. I mean, I'm sat here in England, and I wouldn't want this match to go down in the UK. I wouldn't want Cody to finish his story in London or in Wales, right? Sorry, fellow UK people, right? British people. I wouldn't. For me, this has got to be in America. There is an idea which Bully Ray came out with, which James Chadwick tagged me, and I really appreciate it. He said this should be finished in Madison Square Garden. That's where Dusty had his hands on the belt. And I love that idea as well. I'm down for that, right? I'm totally down for that. The point I made earlier, though, is it doesn't fix the problem. The problem is he won the Rumble. He stepped aside, and we don't know why. If we can fix that problem and have Cody, like, you know, work towards winning the belt in Madison Square Garden, if they could give us that as something to hold on to, maybe there's a way forward there, right? But you've got to explain why we've done what we've done. And then I think there needs to be a Madison Square Garden announcement quite soon, you know, because then I think a lot of people would look at that. Certainly if it was for a premium, like a big premium live event, you know, if SummerSlam or whatever was going to come from there, which I think SummerSlam this show has already been announced. So you do start to wonder, where is this Madison Square Garden show going to come from? I don't know. It's tricky. It's a real tricky one. I feel like we're all trying to make the best of a bad situation. That's how it feels, you know. Jacob said, if there's anything Cody can say on Monday that will make sense as to why he's letting The Rock face Roman, because to me, I just can't see anything that he could say that I would understand as to why he's taking a step back. The only thing I can think is what I said in my tweet and I said earlier, and that is if he comes out and says that the higher-ups have told him they don't think he'll do it. He tried last year and he fell short, and they can't see what's any different this year. And sadly, he agrees. You know, the bloodline is just too powerful. I think even last year, did he have Sammy and Kevin try to help during the match? You know, if he did, I'd have to go back and watch. If he did, he could use that as an example. I even had a couple of mates that wanted to help me finish the story, try to even the odds, and even that didn't do it. You know, the belief from the headquarters are that if I was to do this, I would just be wasting another opportunity and I'd just be going through more heartache, and I don't want to do that, and I don't want to put you through that. But if The Rock, someone that's within that family, can bring the bloodline down, then surely fair opportunity awaits. You know, sometimes it's about picking your battles. I mean, to be honest, you could sort of see the point he would be making there. The only downside with that is that I think a lot of us would be thinking to ourselves, that's you taking a back seat. That's not the Cody Rhodes that we know and love. The Cody Rhodes that we know and love walks through the fire, right? And gets burned, but then gets back up and walks through the fire again. He doesn't step aside. I think it's like LS Dub said, you know, it just doesn't fit the Cody character. So I agree. It's really hard to find something that's going to satisfy. Really hard. I think there would be a way. The reason why I say that is because if I was tasked with this job, I would like to think I could find a solution. And I think if you was tasked with this job of Cody having an answer for why he's done what he's done, I think a lot of you would feel like confident that you could find an answer that works. So I think there will be an answer that works. It's just going to be interesting if they can find it and if it does work. And I hope they don't find it. Jono said, if we get Cody, Seth, and Rock Roman, I'm just not going to watch the main event of WrestleMania. It's already the most disliked video in WWE history, and that says all that needs to be said. He's Dwayne Hogan to me. Moxie said, I know mine was an emotional reaction, but that's what wrestling does. Please don't disregard my tweets. I didn't. We read it. We read it. Nick Forrest said, it's like D-Day. I mean, it is a war on Twitter right now. Mr. Unfamiliar said, I've been saying that Cody should not finish the story for 2 or 3 more years. So this is a great thing that Triple H is doing to keep Cody out of the main event. Why let Cody win the Rumble is the only stupid discussion that was made, or decision that was made. Jules said, as much as I wanted to see Cody versus Roman 2, I actually don't have much of a problem with the new direction. It could possibly lead to The Rock saying to the roster, it took 2 months what took you 4 years to do if he wins. It also leads to a potential Rock versus Cody feud. Matthew has got a missed opportunity. With Seth not certain to defend his title at WrestleMania 40, they should have considered making Roman look super tough in defeat. Night 1 main event, Roman squashes The Rock. This way, he is 100% fresh to take on Cody in Night 2. An outright war, and Cody gets the dub. Talisman Dury 99 said, Daze, if Cody is not at WrestleMania 40 facing Roman, could they do Cody versus Roman and the first PLE after WrestleMania? I think the first PLE after WrestleMania, am I right in saying that is the Backlash in France, which I think is in relatively small arena. Well, I think it's a decent size arena, but it's not a stadium. And I feel like if Roman's title reign is coming to an end, I don't think you're doing it in France, and I don't think you're doing it in an arena when we've got, say, SummerSlam, for example, being like 60-odd thousand. So, no, to be honest, I really wouldn't think we would do that. I think Backlash this year is going to feel like the Puerto Rico show that we did, you know, where we had like Cody against Brock, and we had Io against Bianca. I mean, there were some good matches there, but not something on the magnitude of Cody finishing the story. Jay said, when you think about it now, how much we all want more than ever Mania last year to Cody finish the story. They had us right where they want us again. Damn WWE. Mo Reigns said, I think WWE was between a rock and a hard place, no pun intended. Cody will pick Seth on Monday, but I think Seth gets injured and Priest will cash in. Cody versus Priest at WrestleMania, face versus heel, and it elevates Priest. Cardinal Charles 71 said, is Rock versus Roman a big deal? Yes, but at its core, wrestling is always a story of triumph, a hero persevering through everything and eventually winning. Rock isn't the hero, Cody is. Rock, in a way, feels like corporate Rock. Why not a triple threat? I think we've touched on that, but I would take it if, with the options on the table. Rizzo said, great segment and the right decision. It was now or never for what is one of the biggest main events in wrestling history. Cody can finish his story anytime. It's best for business. Dallas said, I like it. Rock is still a huge draw. Cody Seth makes sense because they can actually wrestle. Chris Allen said, Daze, my thoughts are that Rock Roman will be non-title, but is the stripping of the bloodline from Roman Reigns. Roman's going to attack Solo, and Solo will walk away. Jimmy follows, leaving down the line Cody Roman as a one-on-one match. No outside interference. Cody wins. Matt says, haven't seen one post about Vince since last night. Seems like the smart move. Also, my timeline is filled with accounts that never tweet wrestling, and they're going crazy over The Rock's return. T. Hayes said, I can't help but think that Cody winning the Royal Rumble twice in a row was a consolation prize for not finishing the story at WrestleMania. Also, the glare when Cody walked away, stopping on the ramp, was interesting. Matthew said it's a missed opportunity. Another one. Cody wins the Rumble, announces he will face Roman at WrestleMania 40. Week after week, Cody gets attacked by the Bloodline. Cody has had enough at the go-home show to WrestleMania 40, and he announces that he asked The Rock to be in his corner. Cody finishes the story. Jaden said The Rock should be the special guest referee so that he can ban the Bloodline from ringside. Yeah, I've seen a few people saying about him being the special guest ref, but why can't a normal ref ban Bloodline from ringside? The old, you're out of there. The special guest ref thing is interesting because we didn't have an issue with the ref last year. He may have got knocked down at one point, and we could maybe use that, like good luck knocking The Rock down. But I can't say that Cody lost last year due to a dodgy ref. And, if The Rock's going to be distracted, he also wouldn't have seen Solo interfere. So the ref thing is interesting because I would need that explaining a little bit. Rock being the ref would be fine. I would worry a little bit that it would give Roman an escape, a reason. He would be able to turn around and say, if it wasn't for The Rock fast counting or whatever, cheating me. And it's just, a way of him, even if The Rock didn't do that, it's just a way of Roman kind of getting out of it a little. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right. Again, it feels like we're trying to make the best of a bad situation. Lewis said, does any more need saying than just the picture that is everywhere? Gunther's Chop said, Cody Rhodes building up the Rumble as his only chance to get back to Roman and finish the story, to then go on and win it, and for him to say, nah, not at WrestleMania, not only makes Cody look incredibly stupid, but creates a match, Seth versus Cody, that no one cares about. It's also worth mentioning it's a match that we saw last year 3 times, and Cody even beat him with a broken boob, right? So it's very hard to get excited for match number 4 when Cody is 3-0. Mitchell said, hey, but my only issue with the segment was I felt it undermined the Royal Rumble. Cody should be able to tell The Rock he's earned his spot, and The Rock hasn't. Cody shouldn't have just walked away. Winning the Rumble shouldn't mean having to settle for Seth. Lyle Chasing Hawk said, I'm really upset about the entire situation. This could have been avoided if the allegations and the lawsuit didn't happen. Obviously, no one could have predicted the injuries to Punk or Seth. There were others that Seth could have faced, but business is business. Muse0042 said, Cody versus Roman at Elimination Chamber is the only way this is redeemable at all. The Rock isn't going to beat Roman if he still has the belt. So if kayfabe-wise, Rock went to Cody and said, give me your WrestleMania 40 spot, and Cody says, well, you're on the board now. If you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. This is interesting. Ryan said, I don't mind the idea of Rock versus Roman main event in Mania, but it makes me question why Cody won the Rumble. Realistically, they should have let Gunther, Drew, or Sammy win and then challenge Seth, and then maybe have Cody shoehorn his way into the main event to make it a triple threat. It is the journey, and it is the path we've been on that has, I think, really been the problem. Cole said, I started watching wrestling in 2013 after Rock vs. Cena 2. So the only Rock match I've watched live is the squash against Eric Rowan. And since then, I've always wanted to see a big main event Rock match. On the other hand, I love Cody and I really want to see him win the belt. Yeah, well, I think people do want both. I completely agree. I really don't think anyone's down on the match. It's just how we got there. I am DJ Spazout said, I truly feel like 2 years have been wasted. All the ups and downs we have been through with this Cody story, how we all came to grips with the decision at WrestleMania 39, knowing the story would finish at 40. And now at the same time, I do understand diverting from Vince news, but damn, it's a tough pill. Watson said, let's be honest, the IWC acting like The Rock kidnapped their kids. We just have to move on. We will watch Vengeance Day and have a blast. We will watch Gunther and have a blast. And WrestleMania is still going to be fire, so I can't wait. Matthew said it's obvious they changed the WrestleMania 40 main event due to Vince allegations. They were forced to bring The Rock in now to take focus off Vince. Who better to take the attention off Vince allegations than one of the biggest WWE superstars of all time? Tom said, then what was the point of Cody winning the Rumble? Why not have Rock at 30? He wins and fights Roman, but gives his shot to Cody for the next PLE. It makes Rock seem like he's not only about the title, and Cody not look like an idiot. Walter said feelings are multiple. 1, Seth got torn a new one. He did, actually. He did, you're right. 2, Cody got screwed. 3, feels like Rock has betrayed his principles and may no longer be the people's champ. Now he's suited up and suddenly looking like the Mania headliner. WWE has blown my mind. Good for them. Bad for Cody. Bino83 said it sucks, and I hope the fans at Mania let Triple H know it. Should have just had Gunther win it if this was the way we were heading. Barry said we got our hopes and dreams vinced. Zane said, what do you think about the show ending without them saying a word to each other? Sort of felt anticlimactic for Cody giving up his spot and then nothing was said. I actually think in their minds, they thought everyone was going to freak in that moment. The live crowd did. But I think in their minds, they thought that Rock Roman is so big, everyone at home's going to freak. If you think about the engagement that The Rock got when he just walked out a few weeks back, and it was like, what, 150 million views for the "shall I sit at the head of the table" comment. I mean, the numbers they've had up until this point, everything would suggest everyone would freak out, right? So I think they didn't talk because they wanted that face-to-face moment. And it is a big moment, isn't it? I mean, if you think about the moment we were given last night, right? No one's really focusing on it, right? Everyone's talking about Cody, but we did get a face-to-face between Rock and Roman last night. And that is a moment we've waited years for. It is history. And actually, you know, The Rock did say this after, you know, we've made history here tonight. So I think the commentary team, everyone sat out. There are moments that you just let breathe. So I think that's why they did it. Little did they know that a vast majority, or certainly a good chunk of the WWE universe at home, were freaking out about Cody being removed. And I don't think they anticipated that. I don't think they anticipated that at all. Wrestling fans since day one said, I still think they should do both matches at WrestleMania. Roman and Rock night 1, Cody and Roman night 2. Roman wins against The Rock. Cody wins against Roman and finishes the story. Des fan said, I know Cody got royally dumped on from an extremely high distance in this situation. But at the end of the day, a much bigger superstar showed up and took his spot in the match we've wanted to see for a long time. Cody's story is still a work in progress now. Hendog said they brought The Rock back and threw Cody under the bus to make the Vince allegations go away, and everyone knows it. Okay, this next comment from Green Backlot, I had to actually stop the video to read it. It was a bit too long, to be honest. It's got full of twists and turns. It's very, very, very detailed. If you want to read it, you can go to the X accounts. But basically, it's saying, how about like it's a fourth wall type situation where, you know, The Rock is in a position of power and we kind of use that. Cody stands up to The Rock at the press conference saying that I'm not going to step aside. It gets crazy coverage. We blur the lines between reality and everything. I mean, we could definitely go down those roads, but I wouldn't make it that complicated. It doesn't need to be that complicated. I kind of feel like there are other ways we can get Cody back in without having to like do all of that. So I would say it's a really interesting read. So if you want to go over to X, find Green Backlots, right, and read the whole thing. It's very, very detailed. It's one of the most detailed storylines I've ever seen on X. So a good job. Very, very good job. But it's quite intense. It's a lot to take in. So you can check that out. Michael said, I've got no words for what happened on WWE last night. Like we thought Cody would finish the story, and now Roman Rock, unless we get a different pay-per-view, maybe Cody finishes the story at SummerSlam, and I am disappointed in WWE and Triple H's booking now. CTD Ingo said, I've been wanting Rock Roman for a while, so I'm looking forward to it, but it's a tough situation. Cody said he wants Roman, but not at Mania, so I feel like that puts a triple threat out of the picture. So does Cody cash in his Rumble title shot at somewhere like SummerSlam? The only issue with that is that Cody will be left with some mid-card match at Mania, which feels wrong. Really tough to work out, but hopefully they've got a way to save this for the vast majority who are unhappy. If Roman isn't working Chamber, as the reports suggest, then that's off the cards as well. Cody going after Seth doesn't make sense, considering he basically said he doesn't want the World Heavyweight Championship, despite what Seth said. CJ said, what was the point in letting Cody win back-to-back Rumbles and then getting his spot taken away for The Rock? Next, Tyler Football said, I think we are all forgetting Damian Priest and Judgment Day. I think they will play a role in the end of this, and they will become the final power of the company. I expect Priest to cash in at WrestleMania after Roman Reigns beats The Rock. I'm going to disagree, only because I think for Roman's reign to end that way would be very disappointing. I think Roman is obviously had a historic run. A lot of people have laid down for Roman so that he could beat them and carry on with his run. So he has got to pass that torch, and it's got to be clean. If he gets pinned thanks to a cash-in, I think that's very disappointing. I think it's very disappointing because he passes the belt, but he doesn't pass the torch because, you know, in the eyes of the fans, Damian ain't going to beat Roman clean. And so he's not really the rightful champion. You know, he doesn't really deserve that belt. So he's got the belt, but he hasn't got the torch. And I just think that someone needs to beat Roman one-on-one. They need the belt and they need the right to brag about beating Roman Reigns clean. NCFC Updates said, I think it's a distraction for Roman. Cody doesn't want Seth's belt, so there is no point going after that. I'm hoping this means Roman will main event night 1 and night 2, have Roman Rock night 1, then Cody Roman night 2. This could be revenge from last year. Chels878 said, although it will be nice to see Cody finish the story, Rock facing Roman is, in my opinion, the right call. This will clearly put Roman up another notch, in my opinion, on the Mount Rushmore if he beats Rock. He will even break more records throughout the year till I think Cody wins at WrestleMania 41. Young D Nation said if Cody Rhodes was going to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, he would have lost by interference by the Bloodline once again, and that would have sucked. I think WWE did Cody good on this one, because we all know that Roman Reigns isn't dropping his title at Mania. Sean Stone said, I'm not a big fan of Rock Roman, but I can understand from a business point. However, surely Triple H and the people behind the scenes will see all the anger and the backlash as the fans desperately want to see Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania. Dean said, I think The Rock was not going to back down, so Triple H asked Cody to step aside and finish the story some other time so that The Rock can have his match with Roman. Pickle Chips said The Rock could get kayfabe injured or taken out by the Bloodline as we get closer to WrestleMania, and that would leave a spot open for Cody, or have Roman do a double-nighter. Actually, the Bloodline taking out The Rock, that would be interesting. The problem is, though, if you send the message out to the casuals that you're doing Rock Roman and then you don't do it, that is probably not great from a business point of view. As a lot of people have said during this video, it makes business sense to do Rock Roman. So I don't know. It would be a way of getting Cody back in if they decided to do that, right? You could go down that road. But I still don't think it explains as to why Cody stepped aside in the first place, to be honest. So we would also have to do that. Lisa said, I'm stunned by the reaction to Rock Roman. So do you think Rock coming out a few weeks ago, basically saying he's going to sit at the head of the table and everyone losing their minds, is going to be anything else than Mania? Not a chance. Let it play out. I'm 100% for this. I don't think you're wrong. I think what changed people's minds was the fact that Cody won the Rumble. This is why I thought CM Punk was going to win the Rumble. CM Punk wins the Rumble. He challenges Seth. Then that leaves Roman free for either The Rock or maybe Cody, right? But instead, we had Cody win the Rumble. And immediately, he's finishing the story. So everyone, as soon as he won the Rumble, what Rock said before that became irrelevant. Cody winning the Rumble was a clear indicator of this is the direction we're going, because why would he choose Seth? And actually, we still don't know the answer to that. So I would say the Rock thing, you're right, but then something else happened after that kind of changed things again. Brett said, I'm confused because this is a match Rock Roman that fans have waited for since the whole Bloodline narrative began, and yes, it's exciting. Doing it like this feels wrong though, and it makes Cody's character look weak, and worse than that, foolish. Potentially it derails him. Ooh. Diego said, I expect a Daniel Bryan level fan revolt. This is WrestleMania 30 all over again. Fans will start to boo The Rock and chant for Cody once word spreads that The Rock pushed for change to happen. Philly crowd will boo this match out the building. Matt said, if we do Cody versus Roman at the Chamber and we have Rock keep the Bloodline out, then Cody versus Randy and Roman versus Rock, it could potentially fix what they did on Smackdown. I just don't get why Cody wouldn't want to do it at Mania in the first place. Lovely. We're getting to the end. Shia said, idea of Rock Roman sounds like a great match for a casual, but the fact is wrestling fans have been waiting for Roman Cody since Cody even returned to WWE. I don't know if I'm convinced that Cody will give his spot up in the end, but I hope not. Rock is too old for a good match anyway. Slandibble said, no matter the outcome, they made Seth and the World Heavyweight Championship look weak. They made their top face Cody weak and look stupid in kayfabe, and all just set up a dream match that is nothing more than a dream. Rock won't keep pace for a long, memorable match at this age. Legends should never bump current stars. Brugf said, my theory is Cody is pulling a John Cena 2008 move by facing Roman at the Elimination Chamber instead of Mania. Look up One Night Stand 2008 if you've got no clue what I'm talking about with Cena. Rocky will probably stop Roman's goons, which will lead to the match at Mania. Avash says, it's been heavily said Western Australia is putting big money on The Rock, so I think Rock Roman at Elimination Chamber. Cody will face the winner. That will most likely be Roman. That will fix this blunder. This will be the worst booking, as Cody never got to finish his story. Cody said, I'm coming after you, but not at WrestleMania. And then I think goes on to talk about doing Rock Roman in Elimination Chamber again. Brad said, I'm not angry as some fans, which I can understand. I'm just disappointed that this 2-year journey is looking like it's leading nowhere. What was the point in Cody winning the Rumble? Or are you just going to have him challenge Seth? Most likely. Should have Gunther win it instead. And there we go. That was all of your opinions. This was way longer than I thought, but we did have way more responses, and I really tried to get them all in and featured. I think going forward, there's definitely something here. It feels like this was quite productive, and I really enjoyed reading and discussing your thoughts. So I think we will definitely look to do this again. I would say try to keep your messages within one message. I think that's probably something we've just learned. Just keeps things a little bit cleaner. And other than that, I thought it was really interesting. So I hope you got something from this as well. I really appreciate the support. I am going to go away and start working on an unseen video with all that reaction from social media, the juiciest bits about what happened on Smackdown, the Cody Roman fallout. So I'm going to go off and work on that now. But thanks a lot for watching this. I appreciate the support as always. And hopefully see you again next time. Bye for now.